Your mountain is the block between you and the life you want to live. In the end, it is not the mountain you must master, but yourself. Welcome back to the podcast. Today we're talking about The Mountain Is You. As always, I have listed all of the book information down below if you're interested in reading more. And let's get started. I first read this book in December 2024, and it was when I made my first 2 YouTube videos on specifically self-help. And I made them both in one day, and I was so nervous. And I was so excited to post and not self-sabotage myself anymore and go after my dream. And then I started editing and being so worried about my double chin, and I felt so hideous. How could I ever put these videos out? And I thought the message was stupid. This isn't going to help anyone. Why am I even saying any of this? And I posted and took the video down multiple times on multiple different channels, thinking maybe there would just be the right time to have it up. Maybe when I read more books, I can do it. Maybe when I was living the perfect life, maybe when I was skinnier, I could do it. But none of it mattered, and it was all self-sabotage. And it wasn't until a full year later, in December 2025, I posted these videos onto this channel and made them public on my other channel, Megan Lives Life. And starting in January, I showed up imperfectly, with the weight I had gained being the heaviest I had ever been, but also the happiest because I was no longer holding myself back from someone else's approval or disapproval. So let's get into the book. You're going to have to decide that you love yourself too much to stop settling for less than what you really deserve. The greatest act of self-love is to no longer accept a life you are unhappy with. Take a paper and a pen and write down everything you are unhappy with. Write down very specifically every single problem you face. You must first and foremost get out of denial and get into clarity about what's really wrong. And at this point, you have a choice. You can make peace with that fact, or you can commit to changing it. We reach the breaking point when we finally accept that the problem isn't how the world is, it is how we are. Your new life is going to cost you your old one. It's going to cost you your comfort zone and your sense of direction. Self-sabotage is not a way we hurt ourselves. It's a way we try to protect ourselves. The tolerance for happiness. Hitting our upper limit. There's only a certain amount of happiness that most of us will allow ourselves to feel. Your upper limit is essentially the amount of good that you're comfortable having in your life. When you begin to surpass your upper limit, you start to unconsciously sabotage what's happening in order to bring yourself back to what's comfortable and familiar. We are not wired to be happy, we are wired to be comfortable. And anything that is outside of that realm of comfort feels threatening or scary until we feel familiar with it. When we have a goal, dream, or plan, any reason you offer for not showing up and doing the work is simply you stating that you prioritize that reason over your ultimate ambition. When you find yourself struggling with something, you have to ask yourself, do I really want this? Do I actually want to do this? Practice non-judgment through non-assumption. Instead of reaching a conclusion about a person based on limited information you have about them, consider that you're not seeing the whole picture and don't know the whole story. When you are more compassionate about other people's lives, you become more compassionate about your own. When you see someone who has something you want, congratulate them, even if it feels hard at first. It will extend back and open you up to receive it as well. So she gives very specific scenarios to each individual, and it gives them a way to solve. For example, mine, and I've talked about this before, were guilty of receiving. Guilty of receiving, feeling as though you don't deserve to have success. This feeling usually comes up when you're stepping between not having enough and finally having enough. And she gives you how to solve it. For example, how to solve this. Money and success are tools. They buy back time and offer you the opportunity to help, employ, influence, and change the lives of others. I definitely recommend getting the book or listening to the audiobook because it's like so many. She just lists so many, and I really hope that can help you and benefit you. Your main priority in life is to be liked, even if that comes at the expense of being happy. Be pushed by a vision that's greater than your fear. Write a mantra. Remind yourself that you love yourself too much to settle for less, that you're too good to not live the life that you want. Disconnect action from feeling. Guide our lives with logic and reason, not emotions. Logic and visions to guide ourselves. Don't allow emotion to guide your decisions because your emotions will choose what's comfortable. And I think we've all had this where we have a sprint of motivation. For example, me in Japanese. My partner has been steadily, consistently learning Japanese for probably, I don't know, 3 years, 5 years, I don't even know. And he is so much better and it shows. but then I'll have a sprint of learning Japanese for like a week and then give up for months and then go back for a week. And it shows that I'm not consistent. And I allow my emotions instead of discipline to run that. And imperfect consistency is better than not showing up every day. In chapter 3, she also goes through each emotion that you may feel: anger, sadness, jealousy, guilt, resentment, regret, and others, like so many. So you're able to see which ones apply to you specifically. And the example I will use is resentment. Resentment wants to tell us how others should change. However, no one is obligated to live to our ideas of them. We have an unrealistic expectation that someone was meant to be exactly as we think they should, or love us exactly as we imagine they would. Resentment. People who have wronged us are not meant to love us perfectly. They're meant to teach us lessons. We can then see them for who they are and the role they are supposed to have in our lives. Instead of focusing on what they should change, we focus on what we can learn. The root of self sabotage is a lack of emotional intelligence, because without the ability to understand ourselves, we inevitably, sorry, we inevitably become lost. The tipping point. Exposure is the most common treatment to irrational fear, which I have a lot of, which I'm trying not to ah, attach myself to that belief anymore. But when I was flying, the more I flew, the less scary it became. By reintroducing the stressor into your life in a safe way, you are able to reestablish a line of thinking that is healthier and calmer. Basically, you prove to yourself that you will be okay, even if something does happen, which most of the time it does not. We need logic. Our biggest anxieties come not from what is actually happening, but how we think about what is happening. Reclaim our emotional freedom and power. Worrying does not protect us. Stability, wholeness, and health are my birthright. I am allowed to have everything I want. You are permitted to be at peace. We can only move on if we start building something new. Build a new life for yourself. Feel all the emotions, whether sad, afraid, painful, scary. Maybe the loss was part of the plan. Show up as you are. Be happy right now in this moment. Love yourself, even if you're not your ideal weight. Your glow up is feeling content and hopeful about your future. A vision, who you want to be. Connect with the most powerful version of you. Design your life through your daily routine and uncover your true purpose for being. What would your most powerful self do today? Become the happiest, kindest, and most gracious version of yourself. You are aware that you are angry or sad, but you are choosing what you do about it. Control your behavior. You are always responsible on how you choose to react. Rewire your mind. Inner peace is true happiness. Fear is trying to scare you into staying small and keeping safe. The feeling of peace is trying to remind you that everything will be okay, because it always is, and it always will be, no matter what. Real joy is finding happiness, where you are and how you are. Create a list or a routine in order of importance. You are here to create everything that would make you happier than you could have ever imagined. Self-care is meeting the needs you are responsible for. Instead of worrying about the fear of the future, start focusing on what you can do right now to have the capacity to handle anything. Understand what it is and let it go. It takes awareness. It takes time, but soon your anxiety will turn to calm. Switch from living in the moment to living for the legacy. Start out a conversation that it's okay to feel this way. When we accept the darkness, it's only then when we find the light. The purpose of your life is to enjoy it. I know this was a shorter episode, but I just thought this book was so good. I definitely recommend it. And even though I read it a year before I actually stopped self-sabotaging myself, sometimes it just takes a while for what you learn to really just click for you, and that's okay too. It's about showing up and perfectly doing the best you can every single day. I really hope this is able to help you or someone you love, and I'll see you in the next one.